Rapper G, Crazy S, and Special K are names synonymous with fantastic storytelling, catchy hooks, and just great music. But how did they get to that insane level of acclaim? Let's take a closer look. This is the story of the G Squad. The G Squad begins with two high school students who wanted to make something fun and entertaining. Their names were Rapper G and Special K. They created the G Squad as a way to blow off steam as a hobby, and they put out their first debut album, Bussin' Bussin', which was entirely comedical and entirely hilarious. It did very well on the Billboard, having singles such as Blip, It Ain't Gay to Fuck Black Men, Bussin' Bussin', and of course, Black Men. These songs were very introspective into the social issues that they would cover. However, they were just as catchy and fantastic to listen to. Bussin' Bussin' was just a taste of their next project. Soon, Special K would be featured on American Idol. This would shoot his singles up to the top spots on the Billboard, even having Black Men go #1 for 2 weeks. Soon, Special K had pressure to put out another album. This album would be called The Special K Experience, a delving dive deep into fame and the pressures that come with it. Singles such as Glizzy, Ohio, Diss on Little L, and Special K's Rap would become instant classics and would all go #1 on the Billboard. Special K quickly realized how difficult fame could be, but it was time for Rapper G to stake his claim. Rapper G could see what was happening to Special K. He was getting lumped into the next generation of rappers. And after popular singles like So Many Bitches and Savior, Rapper G did not want to be lumped in with them. So he put out an album so different, so unique, that nobody could lump him in with any other crowd. It would be called Eating Babies, a concept album about a serial killer who ate babies. Popular singles off of the album included Babies Cry, Babytown Baby Eater, and Call a Cop. Rapper G was quickly lumped in with the people he so desperately wanted to avoid, becoming one of the new future generation's rappers. So he had no choice but to release an album so polarizing, so different, that nobody could even imagine somebody releasing an album like it. That album would become The Freestyle. The Freestyle featured songs such as Ready, which went #1, High, which went #1, Low, which went #1, and of course, the diss track on Special K himself, Special K, which went #1 for 6 weeks, proving the popularity he didn't want would come directly to him no matter what he did. While touring the Freestyle, Rapper G quickly became upset at the amount of popularity he had, inspiring his next album. The first thing Rapper G did before making his next album is he looked to the past, to the first mixtape he had ever created, Richer Than You, a very juvenile and under-talented mixtape that he had put out while in his younger stages of stardom. Now, he was going to take the elements from that and bring them into higher production value and higher emotion to put out what may very well be his best album. He would title the album the same thing as the mixtape, Richer Than You, and this was to be the greatest thing he'd ever done. Richer Than You is the story of one man's journey into stardom and finding that it's not all it was cracked up to be. The album begins with Rapology, the moment where Rapper G knew he would be famous, the moment where The Freestyle was finally released. Next, we move into Please, him fighting against the fame, fighting against everyone reaching out to him. This is his fight back. Then we cut to his past in Run. Run is the story of him running on a track meet or a cross-country meet, but he uses it as a metaphor for running from everyone around him and running to beat the competition. Throughout the album, he becomes famous again. It's the backstory before we reach the finale, Richer Than You, and finally, I Don't Give a Shit. Richer Than You states the entire purpose of the album. The title track has a very visceral meaning. It's him saying that he doesn't want to be rich, that he doesn't deserve to be rich, but he is, and that he's better, which is what the entire album was summing up to be. It is to this day one of his most visceral and emotional tracks. He follows it up with I Don't Give a Shit, a comment on the internet in which he grew up in and which has propelled his fame. He comments on how he feels about his fame, about his place in the industry, about his place in the G Squad. The album cover depicts him standing, dressed for a show, uncomfortable and unready to be famous, to be a star. He's buried in layers of filters, representing how he tries to hide himself behind his music, behind his industry, and behind his art. This is the exact meaning behind the album. Richer Than You would become an instant classic, an emotional masterpiece, but it would only go to push him to where he would get to next, the lengths that he would eventually reach. Part 2 will be coming out soon. It will detail the events of making Rapper G's I Don't Know, Special K's Not Okay, and of course Crazy S's Crazy S Raps Like Twice. It will also cover the making of Rapper G's most critically acclaimed and popular album, Purple.